Now have wheelchair disabled player characters. Yeah, I know. It's sure. It's one of those things like, imagine you wanted to play a disabled rogue trader. Would they be walking around in a wheelchair? Probably not. Would they be in a gigantic like throne with like mechadendrite legs? Yes. So stupid. That's one of those things. It's like seeing wheelchairs in D&D is like the dumbest shit ever. It really is, and it's literally all about identity. It's so stupid because it's one of those things. It's like you exist in a world with magic, so you've either rejected the magic or there's something about your disability that is magical in nature, and therefore normal healing magic doesn't work on it. That's cool. That's actually cool. That's a great world building tool. You have been injured in a way that can't be fixed by normal magical means or normal potions. So how would you interact with this world, especially if you want to be an adventurer? Are you going to be in a fucking wheelchair in a dungeon and just we're going to ignore stairs and all that other shit? That's dumb and really like destroys the world building. Instead, the thing that you would do is you maybe you have like what was it? Oh God, what was the? It was Brandon Sanderson novels. Fuck, what were they called? I can't remember. But anyway, it was about superheroes where there was this thing that happened where random people got like superpowers and shit. And one of the interesting things that happened is there was a disabled guy in it, completely disabled. The only thing he could move was his mouth and his eyeballs. And I think his hands. So he couldn't walk, he couldn't like move his body. And what he did is he ended up making this device that was like this giant puppet that would carry him around everywhere so that he could maneuver in the world. Like that's how you do world building. That's how you do that. So if you are in a D&D setting and you can't be healed by magic, in what way would this world allow you to interact with it? We have wheelchairs. That's how we've done it because we are mechanical creatures in nature. By our nature, we invent things that make people's lives easier. Wheelchairs, ramps, shit like that, right? We have elevators and all kinds of shit like that. But in a D&D world where you have magic and with a little bit of like arcane engineering, runes and shit like that, maybe you get some like dwarven craft that like is like an Iron Man suit for your lower torso that literally gives you the ability to walk by connecting your mind to the like metal legs that are wrapped around your legs and they move, right? And that would introduce this like thing, right, where you have to be careful not to get it damaged or you could lose the ability to fucking walk, right? Or just like if you're in a wheelchair and somebody like blows your tires out, right? It's gonna mess your ability up. Or maybe it's like with it would be in 40K where you're literally walking around in this like 4 to 6 legged, 8-legged spider looking fucking thing, and that's the thing you sit on, and that's how you get around. And it allows you you have like faster movement. You can climb walls and hang upside down and shit. Like that's how you world build. How you don't world build is you put a goddamn wooden wheelchair in D&D and expect everybody just to fucking go along with it because your identity. Sorry. Practically a dreadnought himself. Yeah, and it's like, because like look at the best example, Space Marine 2, right? Space Marine 2. Nobody said it was woke. And yet there's a black guy, there's an Asian guy, there's disabled people every fucking where. Like fake eyeballs, arms, legs. They might care? No, because the game wasn't about any of that shit. It was about killing Xenos scum. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and chaos. Chaos scum. All the rest of it was just there. Bullshit. Robot hands. Yeah, exactly. It was part of the world. But you wouldn't see a Space Marine in a fucking wheelchair, would you? No. He would have like metal legs or like an entire under torso that was some kind of weird shit, right? Or they put him in a dreadnought or some shit like that, right? Because duh. Single man with a spear and a brain will be your end. Yeah, well, I mean, that's any guy, but it's one of those things where you could maybe see the wheelchair thing if the fantasy world was our world, but it like bifurcated into a different reality in like the 1800s, right after the invention of the wheelchair. So wheelchairs did exist, and now you have magic and wheelchairs at the same time. So now people take wheelchairs and they make them magical, so they can like float upstairs and or like literally roll up walls. That would be juicy. But you're never going to invent a wheelchair when you have magic, when you have all of this crazy other like dwarven or elvish or like human arcanotech, right? You're never really going to be able to, that's never really going to happen, because you don't need to, because you're going to invent something else. Give me a setting reason like Professor X float. Yes, exactly. All you have to do is justify it. You don't have to just, like I said, all you got to do is justify it. There has to be some reason in the world itself. And that's the thing that really bothers me about this whole argument is you can have your wheelchair, just put fucking legs on it, or make it like floaty or some shit. Just, why does it have to look like a literal modern day wheelchair? That seems fucking stupid. And there's really no in-universe reason, especially in the Dungeons and Dragons world or in most fantasy worlds, why such a thing would exist. When you have things like magic and healing potions and all this other shit, right? Anyway, so now to kill some heretical bitch.